Editor's note: this story contains mentions of suicidal ideation and contemplation. Madison Beer is looking back on a difficult period in her life. The dangerous singer-songwriter writes about standing on her balcony and contemplating suicide at age 16 after having nude photos leaked online and parting ways with her manager and record label in an excerpt from her upcoming memoir. The half of it, shared exclusively with People. Beer, now 24, announced the book in February and spoke to People about its inspiration in an interview at the time. "I really wanted to write this book now because I thought sharing some of the ups and downs in my life might be able to help other people navigate and relate," she said. The musician continued, "I hope by sharing my honest journey that perhaps someone that wanted to hide behind a keyboard to be mean or poke fun at someone else's expense thinks twice before they hit send. I hope that we can find the strength to support each other and that we can work to treat others in the way we would want to be treated." In the excerpt, which will be published by Harper Books on April 25, Beer takes readers back to a dark moment where she was overwhelmed by taking her career into her own hands and stood on her balcony as she considered jumping off. While negotiating the details of going independent was rocky, the emotional turmoil of being dropped was harder to work through. "It wasn't just a bump in my career, it was a hit to my personal life, too. Coupled with the trauma of having my nudes leaked, it completely shattered the image I had of Los Angeles and the industry. These two big, life-altering events happening back to back knocked me off my feet, tilted my world on its axis, and left me feeling like I had no idea who I was. I didn't know who I could trust anymore, and I didn't even know I needed to seek help for the way I was feeling. It was a lot of conflicting emotions for a newly 16-year-old girl to try to shoulder on her own. I felt like I was my own worst enemy. I retreated more and more into myself, and it was the beginning of some of the darkest years of my life, starting at age 16 and following me into my 20s. There were many times just like the night my nudes were leaked that I felt so backed into a corner I thought the only way out was to end my life. Once, on a particularly heavy day, I climbed over the edge of my balcony in law and stood there, a million thoughts running through my head as I stared down at the ground, my eyes going in and out of focus. I don't think I would have jumped. It was more about knowing that I had a way out if it became too much. Still, I lingered there for a long while, chilled by the fact that I wasn't all that scared of being up so high. My little brother found me and screamed for my parents, and as I climbed back over, listening to them all freak out, I was only confused why they were making such a big deal out of it. The thought of killing myself was so normal to me at that point that I had forgotten it wasn't something everyone pondered on a daily basis. As for my career, starting over again was terrifying. Even though I was eager to try, rebuilding my confidence after being dropped was a long and difficult process. I was a starry-eyed, naive girl when I first came out to Los Angeles, and as my mom and I started facing the industry on our own, I realized just how much of my blind confidence I'd lost. I went from having the support of an entire professional team and photo shoots on huge, shiny sets to shooting the cover for my next single with a handheld camera in my living room. Not only was I starting over, but it felt like I was buried 6 feet under, like I had to dig myself back up to the surface first, and only then would I have a shot at a dream. Before, I'd been so excited to offer up new ideas and collaborate, but now, even though I had so many things I wanted to try, I wrote myself off before I even got a chance to voice.